You're listening to Pack Dynamics, a Fandom on the Rocks podcast. Hello. That was so chipper.
Hi.
Welcome back to another episode of Pack Dynamics, a Teen Wolf podcast. I am Emily.
And I'm Allison.
And those are neither of our real voices.
I feel like we've had our customer service voices on this morning. Like, hello, how are you? I'm doing well, thank you.
Oh my God, it's so good to talk to you. Can I sell you an upgrade on your insurance today?
You know what? You probably could.
Probably could.
That's a great customer service voice.
Hi. Calling to talk to you about your direct service.
Poor people who have to sell stuff. Like, anyone who has to sell something over the phone is a superhero. Like, they are actual superheroes, and poor friends.
And I'm so sorry that I never answer the phone.
Yeah, a little bit. You're trying your best, when we know that.
We know it, but I'm still not going to answer the phone from a number I don't know.
Pretty much.
Sometimes I don't answer the phone from numbers I do know.
Correct. There's a reason I save all my phone numbers.
Yep. I got to see a name flashing on the screen before I pick it up.
And in my old lady moment of the week, well, in my old lady moment, I just forgot my train of thought. So that's my old lady moment. But in my, no, it's gone. I had it, and now it's gone. It's something.
Do you need to walk outside and come back in?
In fact, I do. I had to go walk outside and come back in. It's about, in my old lady moment of the week, if I don't pick up the phone and you need to talk to me, either call back immediately, because 2 calls in a row mean something, or just leave me a goddamn voicemail.
Mm-hmm.
Leave me a message.
Yeah.
Leave me a message. If you need to talk to me, leave me a message. Don't just call me once and say you never called me back. How am I supposed to know?
How am I supposed to know?
Leave me a message. A voicemail. Leave me a message. Leave me your message after the beep beep.
Or text me and say, pick up the phone, asshole.
Yeah.
So that I know that it was you.
Yeah, exactly. Be like, hi, new number, it me. Pick up the damn phone.
Yeah. I've been scheduling a lot of appointments at the house, and one of them, the phone rang. I didn't answer it, obviously. And then the guy texted to say, hey, this is so-and-so from such and such. That was me calling you. Excellent. That's exactly how you need to do it.
Perfect. I got you. I'm calling you right back.
Mm-hmm. I will call you right back.
I got told in an email a couple of days ago that someone has been trying to get a hold of me, and I really encourage you to answer your phone. And I'm sitting here going friend, I haven't received an unknown phone call in 3 weeks. If they've been trying to get a hold of me, I think they have the wrong number.
Mm-hmm.
If you're trying to get a hold of me, I promise there are other ways. Leave me a message.
No. Keep trying that number. I'm sure I'll pick up eventually.
I'm sure someone will pick up eventually. No, seriously, if you're trying to get a hold of me and I don't answer the phone, just leave me a message. Just leave me a voicemail. For the love of all the good things, just leave me a voicemail. I feel so strongly about voicemails. I feel so strongly about them.
In fact, we're going to give you Allison's number and you can just leave her voicemails. She'll love it.
It's going to be super expensive for you, but let it ride.
Yeah. She's gonna love it. Well, no voicemails were left in this episode.
But a big voice memo will be. Send this as a voice memo to a friend. I don't care which friend. A friend maybe you're looking to break up with. A friend maybe you're looking to get closer with. I'm not sure. But just record this podcast on your phone and send it to them as a voice memo.
Yeah. You'll never hear from them again, but it will be a way to say that you're thinking about them.
It will be such a sweet, sweet gesture.
So this is season 2, episode 10, Fury.
Not a sweet gesture.
Not a sweet gesture for anybody. Scott and Styles are trapped in the sheriff's department by the Kanima and its controller. Outside the station, the Argents, under the direction of their new leader, come looking to end the Kanima and Derek. So they got murder on the mind.
I got really angry at a lot of people in this episode.
Yeah, this is another episode where just a lot happens in a small space and in a short amount of time.
Yes, and it was super, super fun and really interesting to kind of be along on that journey. We are on that roller coaster going towards the finale. But everywhere I turned, there was somebody who I wanted to grab by the shoulders and shake to be like, friend, the choices you are making are bad. Stop it.
Grab him by the scruff, give him a good shake.
Ugh.
Maybe a squirt bottle to the nose.
Yeah, kind of bap them very gently with a newspaper, stop it.
No. Bad dog, no biscuit. So we open this episode looking back on a flashback at Jackson's house with Jackson and Matt giving the, infamous video camera over so Jackson can record himself in bed so that he wants to watch himself turn into the werewolf. This is the inciting incident of this whole season. I'm just really impressed that all of the teens in Beacon Hill have their own cars.
Correct.
And like nice cars. Like Matt's car seems kind of nice.
Yeah. It seems like new. It seems nice. Yeah.
He's got the little digital lock pad on the outside of it that was cool for like a year and a half.
Yeah.
So it's, his phone screen is kind of doofy. It's like a quill pen, which was just presumptuous. I just didn't like it.
Yeah, but he can remotely connect to his camera and get a live feed of whatever is being like recorded.
Yeah, I didn't like that at all.
Which I don't care for at all. Now, here's in Dear God Why Part 1. So Matt is like convinced that Jackson's gonna like record porn, and Jackson's like, I can't believe you think I do something as unbelievably ordinary as making a sex tape. God, Jackson.
Yep.
But then Matt proceeds to go into his car, pull up the live stream, and like watch Jackson get into bed. Like, Matthew, middle name Dollar. Like, what were you expecting to see? Were you expecting to just hang out in your car and watch your classmate record themselves? Like, what are you? What? Why?
His most likely underage classmate.
Oh my
I don't know
God.
that Jackson is 18.
Like, everything about this, I understand the plot device, I understand the plot armor, but like, no, absolutely not.
Hard no on all of
this. Hard pass.
Now, luckily for everyone's criminal records, what he sees instead is Jackson turning into the Kanima. And I guess instead of like running out in fear, because the Kanima comes slithering up to his car and they have this first moment of psychic bond and connection as the Kanima puts his clawed hand up to the window, and then Matt, instead of like shitting his pants, puts his hand up to the window and I guess through the glass have a psychic bond through glass.
They became instantly besties.
Instant besties, instant puppet master, instant yin and yang, instant
really
vibes.
Not sure how this worked, but it did.
I don't know. It worked. Matt also sees the moment when the Kanima killed Mr. Leahy.
Yeah.
Earlier in the couple days before? Day before?
Something, yeah.
Sometime before, and he was like, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Interesting question about that. If this is the moment when Matt and the Kanima bond, why would the Kanima have killed Mr. Leahy already if the reason Mr. Leahy is interesting to Matt comes out later?
So I would have to go back and rewatch and re-listen to these podcasts to make sure that I had everything happening in the correct order. But I did read an interesting piece of like meta.
Yes.
Today about that.
Okay, good. Because I was just like, wait, what?
So I think the short answer was they didn't know the long game when they wrote it. I think that's the answer. But if we are going to go back and piece it together, so like if it is true, and I hate that I can't remember this. This wasn't that long ago that we watched this. Actually, I can just go back and like look at the freaking notes. I can just look at the notes.
This is why we take notes.
That's why we take notes.
Pull up the class notes.
Pull up the document. So
pull up the text. Why would the Kanima kill Mr. Leahy in particular if he wasn't already bonded to Matt? Because Matt's the reason anyone gives a shit about Mr. Leahy in the first place.
Well, so I have to go back and like actually look at this. So Jackson is a werewolf at the start of 2-1.
He's a Kanima.
Well, he gets the bite and comes out of the water like a newborn baby.
Yeah.
And then Derek finds and bites Isaac because Isaac's the one digging Kate's grave. And then Matt takes pictures of Allison, which in this episode we then learn is when he sees Mr. Leahy for the first time. And then I don't think Isaac's dad gets got until episode 2. Yeah, no. And then, Isaac's not doing well in French. His dad is very grumpy. Isaac already has the bite when he gets in that fight with his dad, when his dad starts to like throw kitchen stuff at him, which means that happens canonically afterward. So, yeah, and then Jackson's like freaks as he's throwing out his bag of inky tissues. So he's already started his transformation. So I think you can put it together that Matt was like connected to Jackson before Mr. Leahy gets got
Okay.
with the information that's in here, but it's not super, super clear. The meta that I read earlier today actually pitched it as if Derek was actually the Kanema's master, as Derek is Jackson's alpha, and that Derek was so angry about the abuse that Isaac's father had given him that Jackson kind of like took that as, please murder this guy.
Yeah. Okay. I can dig that.
I can dig that. Like, and then because Derek doesn't like ever do like the hand thing and like doesn't like acknowledge it because he doesn't know what's going on, then Matt kind of sneaks along and is like, question mark? So like I can see it. The timeline's still a little wibbly, but like it's not out of the realm.
It's not out of the realm. I'm okay with that. I'm always down for Derek bonding with his packmates.
Yeah. For better, for worse, for better, for worse.
But yeah, more so than like Matt and his camera somehow like magically picking victims.
We'll get to that. But you trust and believe we will get to that.
Yeah. So that's the opening. Given what happens later about the reasoning behind all of these murders, then you come back to this scene and you're like, but Mr. Leahy's already dead before you bonded with the Kanema. What the fuck?
Right.
But as we've said in a couple of episodes, I think there are moments where it seems like the writers are catching up to their own ideas
episode,
back threading.
In this episode in particular.
Yeah, it feels like there's some back threading happening here.
We'll talk about Scott's decisions in this episode and how they came out of absolutely nowhere.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They came out of nowhere.
I guess at least Allison's decision had a thread.
Yeah. It's not
a bad
good
thread,
decision, but you can follow the thread. Yeah. So the other one doesn't make there's very little thread that I can find. But we come upon our three of our favorite fellas trying to work out a case where the sheriff definitely doesn't work at the sheriff station anymore. And so Stiles and Scott are trying to convince the sheriff that they know that Matt is the killer and not Mr. Harris, and that this is how they're all connected, and that the sheriff definitely is having trouble trusting Stiles, which will become a big sad thread. And Stiles asks him, well, trust Scott? And the sheriff says, Scott, I trust. So trusting Scott and not trusting Stiles is kind of a theme of the episode. But they decide to go to the sheriff's office at 2:00 in the morning because that's what you do at 2:00 in the morning.
I love that they're just, both Scott and Stiles are like, well, obviously they're going to let you into the sheriff's station. You were the sheriff. So just go ask to see the evidence. Duh.
Yeah.
That's how that's going to work, right? Like, you're going to be able to look at evidence when you're no longer employed.
No,
baby.
No, baby.
And yet they do.
And that's exactly how it works. They were right. They're just blind faith in the love and humanity is correct. And so they get all this access to like hospital footage and all kinds of stuff, including Matt's weirdly shaped head in the official Hail Pack leather jacket. Rejected.
That no.
Rejected.
Not correct.
And so they discovered that, he talked to somebody. Oh my God, he talked to my mom. He talked to Melissa. And they're going to get him because Melissa can positively ID him and everything's going to be great. And so they're like, go tell the front desk to let your mom know when she gets here. And then it turns out
3:00 in the morning.
At 3:00 in the fucking morning, everyone's dead instead. Everybody at the sheriff's office getting wrecked.
And later on, the Argents are going through like plans for the sheriff's station. They're like, yeah, there's only 4 guards on duty, so they're all dead. All of the deputies in Beacon Hill who work that shift are dead now.
Yes, correct.
How many are left? if all of the guards on the night shift are dead, how many are left in Beacon Hills?
This is why Officer Parrish had to get, brought in. They had to like recruit special.
They had to recruit like a 12-year-old deputy to come in.
Yeah, it's really intense, but it turns out that, Matt and Jackson have beaten them to it, and that they are starting to take over the sheriff's office so that
Mhm.
Matt does not become arrested or charged with all the bad stuff that he's been doing.
Which is quite a lot. He has been
Yeah.
found everywhere. The mechanic's office. Sure.
The shop.
The shop. Yes, that's where mechanics work. Shops, not offices. And I did like the throwback to the line about once is a mistake, twice is a coincidence, 3 times is a pattern, and 4 is enough for a warrant.
I love it.
Was a
That
good
delivery was
throwback.
so good.
It was. And I like how they pull the sheriff along on this. Like he's into it,
Mhm.
despite how fucked up this is.
Mhm.
Like these 2 teenage boys are rummaging through evidence and they're pulling out things and they're saying to the sheriff, like, yeah, he's talking to Mrs. McCall and they've got shoe prints that match and it was the bumper. Oh yeah, it's obviously Mr. Harris's car that he borrowed. Like they're just rolling through the evidence for him. Like, you want to stop and pause how your kids are so good at this?
Why did they
Maybe
know all
just
these
like,
things? Why are
how
they
do they
able
know
to
these, sheriff?
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't take pause.
No.
That's, he can't. This is not the time for the sheriff to like take a breath, and he has lived with his ADHD kid for 16 years, so maybe it's par for the course for him.
Yeah.
He does become the youngest FBI agent on the planet.
He does, it's true.
So there's that. But yeah.
We move from a very sad sheriff's office to Derek. That weird shot of Derek in the bright white room.
This throws back to what we talked about on the last episode. What the fuck is this shot? Why is he shirtless? Why is he oiled?
Why, like, literally my notes say, oh my God, what female gaze?
Yes.
Because at that part where he's like screaming at the noise, like it's that like forehead to clavicle shot again.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like slowly zooming in on him.
What is this? Why? What is the purpose?
He's also not shirtless in, quote, real life. Like his
No, he's not.
character is clothed in real life, but this like
Yeah.
out of body experience brought back from death, whatever's happening here. Why is he shirtless?
Why is he shirtless? Why? What are we doing?
Am I an equal opportunity have men be as naked as women on screen? Sure. Or how about everyone be a little less?
Everyone can just have clothes.
Yeah.
Everyone's allowed to have clothes.
And not in like a prudish way, but a little more like, let's just be more respectful of our actors.
Like, nudity is great, but why? Everything on film is done on purpose.
Yes.
Like, you don't usually get film stuff on accident. Generally speaking, that's not how movies and TV shows work.
No, it's very expensive.
Yeah.
Shots are time.
This was a deliberate choice made by somebody for some reason. And I just don't understand what that reason is, other than he's very pretty. Like, I don't
get it.
understand.
He is. He's gorgeous.
But, like, what is the purpose of this?
And, like, equal opportunity ogling, I guess. But I don't think we need to, like, tip the scales of feminism by doing it to men. I don't know, man. I don't know what I'm trying to say, other than
that
respect everybody.
That's generally a big conversation, but, like, Teen Wolf has a very high ratio of like half naked men versus half naked women.
It does. It does.
And they do a lot of half naked like men. They really do. There's a lot of lacrosse. There's a lot of abs going on at like all times.
Jackson is naked like 80% of the time.
Jackson just never puts clothes on. Like, but Derek is really the only one that they like go in on. Like, whenever Jackson's mostly naked, at least he's usually like in the locker room. He's like, doing sports things. He's like in the shower. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I still have a lot of questions, but like, they really do just want to shoot Derek from like the forehead to the clavicle.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand.
At Tyler Hecklin, if you would like to talk to us about this whole experience, we are here for you.
Or if like anybody can explain this. Anybody. If
I
anybody
get
has
it.
thoughts,
They're beautiful men. I understand. They
I
are
got it.
gorgeous.
But like
And so
why?
are the women.
Oh my god, yes.
But
But
the
like why?
filming difference is so stark and it is so rare.
Yeah. They don't do this to Scott. They don't do
No,
this
actually they
to
don't.
like Isaac. They don't do this to Jackson.
Sometimes Dylan O'Brien gets like a nice face caress from the camera.
Yeah, and they'll go in on his eyes, but like that's much more of a romantic shot
Mhm.
than it would
It
be
is
a
romantic.
it's very romantic, but like it's just very odd. It's
It
very
is.
once you start seeing it, you can't unsee it. It's wild.
Mhm. We just wanna talk to you about it. We're just so curious and this is all curiosity. All these podcasts are curiosity. We're just open-hearted curiosity seekers.
Take
Clear eyes, full hearts.
that little curiosity pony out for a trot.
Just talk to us, man. Hey, Allison, tell me about podcasting.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. So I've been listening to Glee on the Rocks for a few years before I came in for a guest episode. That's my ship on Steric. And it was a few years later that I actually came with Emily to do Pack Dynamics. And as we were starting, I was super nervous. Like, do I need all this equipment? Do I need all this stuff? And she was like, no, it's super easy. We use Zencaster. And I was like, it can't be that easy. My anxiety tells me nothing can be that easy. But it actually was that easy. It is now so easy. It's super easy to record a podcast with Zencaster. Log in using your browser and start recording a high quality podcast right away. Record studio quality sound and up to 4K videos with your guests. Feel a sense of zen knowing Zencaster's multi-layered backups ensure you always have your recordings in the highest quality, even if the connection is unstable. At the end of every podcast episode, we download their recordings, and every single time they are absolutely top notch. If you have thoughts about podcasting before and realized that you need a lot of different tools and services, those days are over. With Zencastr's all-in-one podcasting platform, you can create your podcast all in one place and distribute to Spotify, Apple, and other major destinations. Go to zencastr.com/pricing and use our code FANDOM, and you'll get 30% off your first month of any Zencaster paid plan. I want you to have the same easy experiences I do for all my podcasting and content needs. It's time to share your story. So, speaking of decisions that were made at some point,
Deaton, baby.
Derek wakes up from whatever has happened to him as Uncle Peter has been resurrected, and we finally find Dr. Deaton having woken him up with a dog whistle. Thanks, Doc.
So that's fucking rude.
It's rude. Thank you, sir. It worked, but rude. And out of nowhere, he decides to be kind of an asshole to Derek.
Yeah, he's a full dick I mean, he's like,
Okay, all right.
you're still an alpha, but not a competent one. Like, wow, all right.
Wow.
This man almost died, maybe?
Helping your family actually used to be a pretty important part of my life. Excuse me.
Okay, yeah, way to exposition drop and like change the entire arc of your character a little bit where
Helping you is a promise I gave to your mother. So why have you waited a season and a half to help him?
where have you been? Why have you been staring at this guy like you don't know who he is?
Sir?
What happened in the lap between last episode and this episode?
Sir?
Where have you been, Deaton? Have you just been like waiting around until it's gotten really bad?
Yeah, I don't understand.
I like little shit characters. I really do. I mean, Styles is a little shit character. Actually, Jackson's a little shit character. They're fun.
Isaac on occasion is a little shit character.
Isaac on occasion, which is funny because in fic he's not. In
No,
fic
ever.
he's often like a little soft boy.
No,
And I think
he's a
people
little
forget
shit.
that.
Boyd is a soft boy.
Boyd's a soft boy. Isaac's a little
Isaac's
shit.
a little
You gotta
shit.
remember that, you guys.
Yeah.
Fanfic writers at large, remember the difference.
Revisit the source material, please and thank you.
Please and thank you. Boyd's a soft boy. Isaac's a little shithead. But somewhere the writers were like, oh, right, Deaton, important. Or like they just decided to make him super important. They're like, we're spitballing. Let's make him a part of the family. Okay, he's helping. Let's make him a promise for season 3. Like, they're just throwing threads out for the next season here.
They really are. And it's like, and Derek goes, you're the one my sister talked about. And Deaton starts talking about I'm more of an advisor. And it's like, so why have you...
You haven't been advising?
You've been advising Scott, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Man needs a father figure in his life, but like,
But you
come
haven't
on, my
been
dude.
advising Derek, for whom you've made a promise.
Yeah. And I'm definitely extrapolating, but in this scene and one at the very end, I can start to see, like, is this where that thread in fandom came from? So this scene, I started seriously thinking, I'm like, is Deaton mad at Talia?
Mm.
I'm not doing this for you. I'm doing this for your mother
Mm-hmm.
because I loved your mother and I never loved you.
Mm-hmm.
And like
That could
that's
be.
the vibe I'm getting. I'm like, whoa, sir. Because like in a lot of fic, there's always a lot of like tension between Deaton and Talia.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like it's I have so many questions. But Deaton is very, very cryptically telling Derek that, like, there's one person you need to trust right now, and you haven't been trusting him at all. And like Deaton is right. You should trust Scott. But the way he goes about it is like not very it's not
It's
nice,
not being
it's not
helpful.
kind, and it's not helpful.
And again, if you're supposed to be an advisor to the family and to Derek in particular, let's use kind words. Let's use some gentle parenting here a little bit because it feels like Derek is not responding to aggressiveness.
He's really, really not.
Remember, he hasn't had parents in a while. He could maybe use some more instructive reasoning rather than, "Hey, shithead, you
Yeah.
suck."
Seriously.
Yeah.
So, we get Allison and she is having a real bad night.
Oh, Allison.
As we move
Not you, the
from
other Allison.
yeah, the other Allison, Allie A is having a real bad night. And Grandpa Gerard comes in to make it better? Question mark.
Is
more
that what he's
emotionally
doing?
more emotionally devastating. And
This
he
guy is a
proceeds
master manipulator.
he is so good at his job, but oh boy. So Gerard is like hyping up this letter that like Victoria wrote for Allison, like specifically to explain to her like why she killed herself and what's going on. And Gerard is like, she asked me to read it to get my advice, and like I didn't. But if I had,
Yeah.
if my mother had written me a letter like this, I would have burned the world down to have sought my revenge. Like, dude.
He's just straight up telling her that she needs to kill Derek and the pack to revenge her mom.
Avenge.
Yeah. He's just like looking her dead in the eyes, like, if you don't murder people tonight, you're worthless. And you don't love your mom.
Just I have so many questions. But yeah, he just proceeds to spin her all the way up into a big murder monster like her Aunt Kate.
Do you think she would have done this character turn? Because this is her moment. This is Allison's character turn moment.
It's her heel turn.
Because
Yeah.
her heel turn, yeah. Because she reads the note, she burns it, she trashes her room like an angry teenager, and then she puts on her murder clothes and gets her murder crossbow out to go on her revenge streak. But do you think she would have if it hadn't been for Gerard just like spewing poison in her ear like Lord of the Rings?
No.
I don't think so
No,
either.
I don't.
I think she would have just
Because
sat there and cried.
yeah, she would have sat there and cried because like she sits there and cries and her dad comes in all the time. Like this is like a thing that they do. I also have a huge, huge question. If Gerard wasn't there, would Victoria still be alive?
Yeah.
Because that is also like a big question. Because like Chris was like, no way, we're not going to do it. Allison was not informed. And Victoria is like, if I'm going to go out, I'm going to do it on my terms.
Mm-hmm.
But like Gerard was the one pushing it all the way down.
Yeah. I wonder if Chris could have convinced Victoria not to kill herself.
I don't think Chris could have alone, but I think Chris and Allison could have.
Yeah, and just be a werewolf
Yeah. Yeah, because I think that at that moment there would be no more powerful thing than to be like, you have a daughter who has a lot of who has a werewolf in her life who she loves. That isn't you are still who you are. We still love you. You are still one of us. You just, your eyes are a different color now, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But yeah, no, Gerard definitely spins Allison into her heel turn, and she just goes on a little murder rampage.
Well, especially because now As the female, as the woman, she is the leader of the Argents because that's what they do. They raise their women to be leaders.
So, okay. Not that this episode won't go on for forever anyway, but there's a theory. There's a meta theory out there on the internet, and I tried to find it again today and I could not. And it's about Gerard, and I can't stop thinking about it.
Okay.
So, when Chris kidnaps Allison in, what is that, 2-3?
Mm-hmm.
They start talking about we raise our sons to be soldiers and our daughters to be leaders. Now, look at the Argent family that we have: Gerard, Chris, Victoria, Kate, and Allison.
Yes.
In the original family that we knew, Chris, Victoria, and Allison, Chris was definitely the ringleader. Victoria was in no way the decision maker in that. Then Kate gets involved, and Kate also definitely is not the lead decision maker. Like, Chris is constantly second checking her. He's constantly saying, like, no, I don't, like, that's not the way to go about it. I don't know what your vibe is. Like, this is not how we do things. Like, whatever you're doing is not correct.
Mm-hmm. She's also been like absent.
Right. And then we get Gerard, who comes in and immediately takes charge from Chris.
Yeah.
He doesn't secede to like Victoria and only secedes to Allison when he is convinced that he's got her, like, under his little claws. So there is a theory out in the metaverse, out in the universe, out in the internet, that Gerard is trans. And that he was raised as a woman. He was raised as a girl and, like, you know, taught that he has all the qualities for leadership and that he is a good leader and that he is the moral compass and the moral guidance. And then he comes out as a man and all of a sudden, like, it's taken away from him.
Mm.
And like that starts to like mess with his brain. And like, on the one hand, I don't like this theory because it like assigns that like trans people are villains, which is not at all, absolutely not the case. It's a really interesting dynamic to look at gender and gender roles in the Argents and the ways that changes so fiercely with this theory. And I just think it's super interesting to think about.
Yeah.
Because I think if Gerard had been raised his whole childhood and young adulthood saying, like, you're going to be in charge, you are the leader, they have to listen to everything you say, like, learning all of the ways to lead a family of, like, you know, crazy murder monsters, and then to instantly have that taken away, like,
how would that fuck you up?
How wouldn't that fuck you up?
Yeah.
I think it's a super interesting theory.
This is why I love fandoms too.
I know. I love fandom because canon could never.
No.
Canon could never.
No, they could not.
No, they could not. They could never. And I love that, just all the things you have to think about.
Yeah.
In making Gerard who he is. Because, like,
Although you want to make Gerard sympathetic.
No, because he's not. He's a monster. And he's a different monster than Kate.
Yes.
Like, Kate is a monster because she is, like, attention-seeking and chaotic. Gerard is a monster because he knows exactly what he's doing and is playing the long game and will stop at nothing in order to do it. He will manipulate and mansplain and, you know, murder.
Mansplain, manipulate, murder.
Mansplain, manipulate, murder.
In
order to get what he wants. And nothing stands in the way of that. And so he's a little less chaotic than Kate, but certainly just as evil.
Yes.
And so
these family genetics are really working out.
Yeah. Chris is having the hardest time right now watching just everyone unspool around him. Poor guy.
I know.
Poor guy.
It's really just terrible.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so Allison is downstairs and Gerard is telling her, like, you're making the big decisions now. You know, maybe you should tell us that authority falls to you now. And Chris is trying so hard to like get like a hold of Allison because she's very fragile right now. But she decides that Derek and the entire pack need to be dead. Very, very dead.
Yeah.
She's very
not
dead.
Thinking.
No, absolutely not. In absolutely no way is she thinking.
Because she's firmly placed the blame for her mother's death on Derek, despite it being an accident, and despite the fact that her mom was in the act of murdering Scott, which she doesn't know.
Right. She doesn't know that.
I don't know if at this point it would convince her of anything if she knew
No.
that.
No, it wouldn't, because at this point she's so angry with Derek that she sees all werewolves as monsters, including Scott.
Yeah. Or if she would even believe it if someone told her
Right.
actually what was happening is that Victoria was trying to kill Scott. I don't know that she would believe that as fact.
Right. I don't know. I don't know.
She's in her feels right now.
She's in a lot of feelings, and she's not wrong. She's allowed to have feelings. Her mother just ended her own life
Yeah.
because of the responsibility to the family and didn't say goodbye. And like Allison is completely annihilated. Her whole everything has just been annihilated.
Well, and Gerard says that stupid shit about make the decision from strategy over emotion. She can't do that right now. And Gerard knows she can't do that right now. There's no way.
No way.
Chris couldn't do that right now. He just lost his wife. Like,
Yeah.
fuck off, Gerard. You know that you're manipulating every moment of the situation, and that's all he can't. I mean, that's what he does.
Right.
He doesn't care. I don't know if his priority right now is getting a hold of the Kanema or getting rid of Derek. And I don't know. I think his priority might actually be getting the Kanema, and Derek is just like a bonus.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay, well, Allison will get rid of Derek for me as I get the Kanema, which is my priority.
Right.
And if it destroys my granddaughter in the process, like, well, whatever.
Yeah. And there's that whole thing in early season 2. Gerard is basically declared open season on werewolves because like
Yeah.
any werewolf in existence is responsible for killing my daughter. He's blaming the entirety of werewolves everywhere for the death of Kate.
Yeah. Which is a bit what Allison is doing now with
Exactly.
Derek and the pack.
Yep.
Derek killed my mother. Therefore, all werewolves are werewolves are on notice.
Yep.
And Derek didn't even kill her mom.
No.
Her
Nor
mom
did
killed
he
her
kill
mom.
Aunt Kate.
No.
No. Derek has only killed one person, and it didn't work that well.
No, it didn't. It didn't.
And it didn't work that well.
That's why he's a fail wolf.
He's such a fail wolf. I love him so much, and he's a fail wolf. Okay, so speaking of the fail wolf, so a lot is happening at the station right now. So
There's a lot going on at all times everywhere.
at all times everywhere. So like we leave the Argents and they're definitely planning to take the sheriff station. Like they're like, okay, cool. We believe Matt and Jackson are there, and like we're gonna go get them. And at the sheriff station, they're expecting Melissa at the door, and Matt is like, "Well, go get it." It turned out to be Jackson, it turns out to be
Actually, he
Derek.
sounds just like that. Go get it.
Go get him. And it turns out that it's Derek and not Melissa, but Scott's like, "Oh, thank God." And then it turns out that Derek's
Okay, did you
Derek has been
sigh
Jacksoned.
when this happened? Because I was like, he just woke up from being whatevered into oblivion, and now he falls right the fuck over again. And I was like, buddy.
Poor dude.
I know.
Poor dude. And so Matt decides to go on another little rampage after talking to Styles and Scott, and Styles gives him one too many little quippy remarks, and he gets Jacksoned also.
Okay, but you can't pass over what the quippy remarks are. These are great lines. These are
They
like
are.
key Teen Wolf lines.
Would you like to do a rendition?
They're going around like, except for you, Styles, what do you turn into? Abominable snowman. But it's more of a wintertime thing, seasonal. Of course you'd slash him. That's so annoying.
It's so annoying.
It's
A little shit.
He's such a little shit. And then he does fall directly on top of Derek. Is that because, like, I feel like that's a bit because they thought it would be funny.
Yeah.
And for the rest of us, it was like, yeah, shipping.
Yes, they thought it would be funny, but
and we were like, yes.
It was not funny. In fact, it was like, hello. And Derek is like, get him off of me. And then Matt decides to give us what is, I think, the official Steric ship tag.
You look good together?
Yeah. I don't know. I think you two make a pretty good pair.
Yeah, you do.
And like my little heart was like, and I really appreciate, and then Derek and Styles go back on their banter, but it's team banter against Matt.
Mm-hmm. They're just
So Matt's talking shit about like, you
sass-talking.
can't move. Are you that strong? And Derek's like, I've still got my teeth. Do you want to come down here and see how weak I am?
Yeah, come a little closer.
And Styles is like, yeah, bitch.
Yeah, bitch. The way he says it too is incredible. Just because he's like trying to kind of move his mouth, but not really. Just like, yeah, bitch.
It is wild. So Melissa eventually shows up and, Matt leads Scott to Melissa with a gun to his head. And Melissa is very reasonably trying to talk Matt down. And Matt's like, no, I'd rather not. And then shoots Scott like in the abdomen.
Yeah.
And
Kind of where he got stabbed before.
kind of where he got stabbed before. A little bit. And so Melissa is rightfully panicking. And so they all kind of skedaddle off and they lock Melissa in this, like, in the holding cell, and the sheriff is handcuffed to the wall. And Scott is trying to comfort Melissa. And Melissa is like begging Matt, like, he's been shot, like, he has to see a doctor, like, please let me see my son. And Scott, like, holding his like bleeding bullet wound, looks at her and goes,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't hurt, Mom. And I am immediately thrown forward to the parallels that we'll get at the end of season 3. I can't take your pain. That's because it doesn't hurt. Oh God, the parallels. And it hurts. And so, Melissa is having a full-on panic moment in the cell. The sheriff is having a full-on panic moment attached to the wall. And, Matt goes back into the room where Styles and Derek are, and is talking about the bestiary. I need the bestiary. And Styles and Derek are looking at each other like,
I love that the toxin paralyzes them just enough that they can keep giving each other sassy looks.
yes, it's fantastic. Hey, Emily, talk to me about hydration.
So you lived with me. You know that I left water bottles all over the apartment.
You do! You have such an emotional attachment to your emotional support water bottles.
I did. Hydration is really important to me. I'm thirsty, and I find that having a lot of water around me at all times really makes it easy to stay hydrated. But there's something else that helps me stay hydrated.
Well, the thing that I really struggle with is I really struggle to stay hydrated. And so lately I've been doing a lot of those like treadmill struts because my siblings on the internet are just the most creative and wonderful people in the universe. But as I'm like strutting in the gym and like awkwardly sweating in front of all these people, I drink so much water trying to stay hydrated. And I'm from the desert, and hydration is super important to me because I was a chronically underhydrated kid because that was my own fault because drinking water wasn't fun. And so anything I could do and can do still to make hydrating more fun and appealing and delicious is something that I want to do. Unfortunately for me, lots of these types of like water flavors have tons of sugar, which does mean, luckily for me, Liquid IV, the #1 powdered hydration brand in America, is now actually available in sugar-free. So one stick of Liquid IV in 16 ounces of water hydrates you 2 times faster and more efficiently than water alone.
Yeah, and the sugar-free version, which is made from a proprietary amino acid allulose blend for that sweet taste without the calories or the raised blood glucose levels that you can get from sugar, comes in these 3 new really exciting flavors. There is a white peach, which is really robust and satisfying. It's kind of like those peach gummy candies that we all loved as kids. There's a green grape, which is tart and crisp and really yummy, and then a lemon lime, which is super zesty and refreshing and really awesome for the summer.
So I actually have a box of frozen green grapes in my freezer right now. And if I could get my water to taste like that while being super hydrating, that seems like an absolute dream. Plus, there's a bonus to using Liquid IV in that they believe that equitable access to clean and abundant water is the foundation of a healthier world. Liquid IV partners with leading organizations to fund and foster innovative solutions that help communities protect both their water and their futures. And to date, Liquid IV has donated over 39 million servings in 50 plus countries around the world.
So get 20% off when you grab your Liquid IV Hydration Multiplier sugar-free or any other version at liquidiv.com and use code FANDOM at checkout. That's 20% off anything you order when you shop Better Hydration today using promo code FANDOM at liquidiv.com.
And it turns out that Matt is slowly turning into whatever kind of reptilian Kanema Jackson is.
Yes. Oopsies.
Whoops.
I mean, you mess with the bull, you get the horns.
Yeah,
Is that what it is from The Breakfast Club?
I think so. So they have Styles and Derek have this like little side conversation about that he has to play by the rules, and if Matt's breaking the rules, so he's abusing the Kanema, so he's becoming the Kanema.
Because the universe balances things out. Which suddenly Derek knows.
Yeah, because Deaton, Dr. Allen, I'm all about that balance. Deaton has finally decided to talk to Derek.
Yeah, maybe they had a longer conversation with the dog
before
whistle.
Derek showed up at the sheriff's office and got Jackson.
Yeah. Let's go with that.
So we
And
finally
Derek's
get
trying
Matt,
to push the toxin out of his body by digging himself with his claws.
and Styles is not having it.
He's not having it. He's gonna have to get used to bodily harm.
He really is. So we finally take out like 10 minutes of this episode to get Matt's tragic backstory.
So tragic.
So tragic. He gets pushed into a pool by the swim team who's been drinking, and he can't swim, and decides that he's going to go on a murder spree because of it.
He doesn't actually even die. He just like has a rough time. Okay, not to say that getting pushed in a pool against your will isn't bad, but the kind of the lead up to this is almost an intimation that he did die.
Mm-hmm.
Scott kind of says to him, like, you drowned, didn't you? And there was another moment, I think in another episode, where it seemed like the killer was talking through the Kanema, and it sounded like they killed
in
me. In the club, yeah, like they say they killed me, or I drowned, something like that.
It's they killed. It's like, well, who'd they kill? Me. They killed me.
Like, no, you fell into the pool, and then they pushed you into the pool, and then Mr. Leahy pulled you out quite quickly, it seems.
Yeah, and then definitely went like abusive dad on him, but
yes, yelling at him that no one's gonna, don't tell anyone about this or else. Terrible. Shouldn't have happened. Very shitty situation. But the show did make it seem like this kid had in fact died and was somehow like back from the dead and getting revenge, or like astro projecting or something. So I was a bit like, what? Yeah.
Like,
not to say that I was well, maybe I was a little disappointed that it just turned out that he was alive.
Like, so he talks about he has like all of this time underwater to like see everybody like feeling each other up and all this stuff, and he's like, and then it went black, and then suddenly I'm out of the pool. I'm like, yeah, that's how trauma brain works.
Mm-hmm.
That's how trauma brain works. Like you have a whole memory, but it's kind of like cut up julienne style and then tossed in a salad bowl.
Mm-hmm.
And so you like pick pieces out of it, and it doesn't usually come in back in order. And it just, that's totally, of course you would have lost some chunks of time.
Yep.
And Mr. Lee, he's like all wet, like
oxygen.
He dove into the pool. Like, I don't understand.
Yeah.
I needed a little more exposition in this, just a smidgen.
Yes. And I'm not sure how much time. So this is the 2006 swim team, right?
2006, 2008, something.
I'm pretty sure they call it the 2006 swim team.
Okay.
And then it's the Argent's funeral. This show is in 2012. So I have always assumed that the show is in the same year. Is it not true?
That seems reasonable.
It's occurring in the same year.
Yeah.
So he says, and then there's the art. So Matt was celebrating with the 2006 swim team.
No, he goes out. He goes over to Isaac's house because Isaac has a and then being like a little kid. Because
he a little? He had to have been a little kid.
According to Kate's tombstone, Kate dies in 2011, and
okay, so that's and that was the first season. That was the season before. Okay,
yeah.
So it is current.
So
Matt gets drowned in 2006. He gets thrown into a pool in 2006.
Yeah.
But he's in high school with these kids in 2011, 2012.
No, none of the...
No, he's with our kids, with like Styles and Scott.
Yeah, so when he was So that was 6 years ago. So he was like 11 years old.
But like it looked like they didn't use a different actor.
No, they
Nothing
should have,
about
but
the
they did
scene.
not. No,
Yeah, nothing about the scene made it look like he was a kid. It just made it look like he was him getting thrown into a pool at the same time. Like it that the visuals were like, so this happened to you yesterday or it happened to you 6 years ago? Because then he talks about the Argent's funeral and seeing Mr. Leahy like, okay, so yes, like 2 weeks ago? Like what? How? When? What happened? What is the timeline?
So, okay, no, the timeline to me seems very, very clear. So, in and around 2006, there was a party with the swim team who was mostly full of seniors at that point, done by their coach and Camden's dad, Mr. Abusive J. Leahy. So, Isaac is a little kid, like 10 or 11 years old. Matt is a little kid, like 10 or 11 years old. And Matt is going to Isaac's to look at comics or trade comics or whatever, and gets distracted by like a big fun party because he's a little kid and has a jello brain. And then Isaac's big brother like shoves him in the pool because they're all a little drunk and it's funny until they learn that he can't swim. And so then Isaac's dad pulls him out and like it does the abusive dad thing. Don't tell anybody, you were never here, etc. So Matt has like swallowed all of that trauma and not processed it and not told anybody. And then he decides to go to Allison's aunt's funeral, I assume, because he's got a hookup for Allison. He is like obsessed with Allie
Yeah.
A and is just going to follow her everywhere. But as he's shooting Kate's funeral, he like sees Mr. Leahy because Leahy runs the graveyard. And then all of a sudden is filled with because he probably hasn't seen him in 6 years.
Despite living in the same town that apparently only has 4 people in it?
Yeah, well, he has avoided the swim team, avoided Isaac, and doesn't go to the graveyard. I don't know.
Has avoided Isaac even though they go to the same high school that only has 400 kids in it?
This was the moment his trauma decided to come out and prance. I don't know. But
okay.
we get
Why not
the tragic
kid in that scene?
I don't know. Probably because they didn't want to reshoot it. Probably because they couldn't get a kid. Too expensive, out of budget. I don't know. But he kind of decides that like all I have to do is take a picture of them, and then then Jackson kills them. And we're like, okay, cool.
How does that work? How does the camera to murder?
I believe we have learned how the camera murders from a little novel from our childhood, Goosebumps number 4, Say Cheese and Die.
You know what? You're not wrong. Say Cheese and Die is a seminal classic.
Say Cheese and Die is a seminal classic, and that's how we learn that cameras lead to death.
Teen Wolf may owe R.L.L. Stein royalties for that one.
Oh my god. Yeah, it's wild. But we get Matt's tragic backstory, and he has decided that since the entire group of drunken 17-year-olds decided to let him drown, that he has just gonna wreck everybody. Everybody. But someone gets in his way because he is not the only one looking to attack the sheriff's station tonight.
Nope, he is certainly not. His spiel is interrupted by just massive amounts of gunfire blasting through the windows.
Kapow!
I sure hope that this building has insurance on it.
Seriously?
Because if it doesn't, I don't know who is paying for this.
I really appreciate that they establish very early on that Gerard is a Shakespearean literature geek because he quotes Shakespeare in this scene.
He does. Love is a smoke made with the fume of sighs. That's Romeo and Juliet.
Let's give them some love. Yikes.
Gross.
Yeah. But so they decide to like smoke bomb the entire place, and we get some very intense and beautiful scenery. This is where Scott finally finds Derek and Stiles again, and like Derek is like, take Stiles, take him and get him safe, like, go, take him and go. Yeah, he does. So it's all those beautiful images of like Scott with Styles around his shoulders, all those gorgeous, gorgeous images.
This all looks very cool. Like,
Oh, yeah.
Jackson is storming through the building like a Terminator. Derek is recovering enough to like wolf out. There's smoke, there's flickering lights. It looks great.
It's gorgeous. Allison is definitely being a bad guy. Definitely being a bad guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Allison runs into Scott and it's not great.
No. Because at this point, does the pack even know that Allison's mom is dead?
No.
I don't think so.
Because that just happened in the night.
Yeah.
If it's like 3:00 in the morning, I think she died maybe a few hours ago.
Yeah, maybe the night before, something.
Maybe the night before. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I don't think they know. Because Scott definitely knows that something is up. And Allison, of course, won't tell him. But Scott sees that something is not right. The sheriff eventually like rips the handcuff mount out of the wall.
Yeah.
Whoo, hello.
Hello, sheriff.
And Derek's like stalking the room being a big bad alpha.
Yeah, he is.
Jackson. My favorite is Scott puts down Styles and says, "Don't move." Oh, you know what I mean.
Although the worst part of that scene for me is Styles' head tipping back over the chair, and I was like, "Oh, his neck is gonna hurt so bad."
Oh, for sure.
I was like, "Ow!"
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
I was like, "Oh, don't do that to him."
Yeah, everything hurts. Everything hurts. So then, because we're in this very moody aesthetic vibe, everyone's going to have to get attacked by everybody. So the Kanema comes and attacks Chris, and then Allison rescues him by shooting the Kanema in the forehead. The Kanema says, "No, thank you."
The Kanema, I love this slow, like, look to her as he pulls the crossbow bolt out of his head, and he's just like, no,
thank you. You can have this back.
Sweetie, no. That actually would be really funny if he just handed the bolt back to her, like, no.
Here you go. No, thank you. And then proceeds to go after Allison. So Allison is like hiding in like the dispatch, like the car dispatch room, I guess. My favorite thing in this entire episode, you can see Jackson walking on like his little tippity toes.
Yeah.
I'm like, Jackson Whittemore, Jackson Kanema Whittemore, sir.
Did this remind you of
sneaking around
of Jurassic Park?
Yes.
This reminded me of the raptor scene in Jurassic Park.
Yes,
I was like, I kind of love it.
Correct.
Maybe a little less scary, but it definitely had the vibe of the kitchen in Jurassic Park. Yeah, unfortunately, Matt shows up to be a super creep on top of being an asshole.
Yeah.
And he gives this whole speech to Allison of literally, if I can't have you, no one can.
Well, she's like paralyzed on the ground because the Kanema got to her. Like,
yeah. But like,
so,
we already know Matt sucks ass, but ugh.
Yeah. And so she like closes her eyes real tight, and then she feels like a hand on her shoulder. She's like, "Oh God!" Turns out it's her dad because Daddy comes back to save her, and we love him for this. And
he's the best.
So I don't know. It's just my notes are just like boom, 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 boom. We go back to like
this scene is chaotic as shit, but it's
supposed to be
great. It's supposed to be. You're supposed to feel like you're in the middle of a battle because it is a battle. There's 3 factions. There's Styles and his crew, or Styles. Well, yeah, sure, Styles and his crew. There's the Arjans, and then there's Matt and the Kanema.
Yeah. So, we go back to the holding cell where Mama McCall is locked in the holding cell, and Papa's just like popped the handcuff thing out of the wall, and Matt like knocks him out, and Styles is finally awake enough, and so he's like crawling towards his dad.
Heartbreaking. His face in that is so good because he's just like, obviously we don't know Dylan O'Brien from A Hole in the Wall, but I feel like Dylan O'Brien would rip his nails out crawling across the floor if it would give a better performance.
Do you know what I mean? Shot of him, like he doesn't even go anywhere, and it's just there's so much emotion on his face.
Mm-hmm.
He is feeling so strongly, and I'm crying, and I'm crying.
Yeah, like I feel like he would do that for a take.
Yeah, for sure.
For a shitty little MTV show.
So we finally flash back out to Gerard, who starts to cough and then immediately starts taking meds from his little case.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if I'm the first person to tell him this, but honey darling, that's not how pills work.
Okay, this bothers me in every TV show and in every movie when people are like, "Oh, I've got a heart condition. I got to take my pill." Like, you should have taken that 3 hours ago if it needed to work. You got to metabolize that.
You take it when you brush your teeth or you take it with your morning coffee. You have to take it at the same time
You got
every
to
day.
take it at the same time every day unless you have like an emergency thing that is fast acting and will dissolve under your tongue. You can't
Yeah,
unless
most
it's an
people don't have
injectable that
rescue pills.
Yes, you can't take a rescue pill. It has to
If it's
metabolize.
If it's a rescue inhaler, that's what that's for,
Or an injectable.
an injectable like an EpiPen. If you're diabetic and you need a blood sugar boost, it's a packet of honey or a packet of like jam or
Yes.
like a Kit Kat or something. Like it's a pill is not a fast acting form of medication,
No.
my friend.
My migraine medication doesn't work instantaneously. Would that it did, but like
Yeah, when my uterus is throwing a bitch fit because I didn't fill the apartment that month, my ibuprofen takes at least 20 minutes to work.
oh my god.
Like, if I start coughing because reasons, like I'm not reaching for a pill. If you take
No.
maintenance medication for asthma, that is a daily thing at the same time.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter because we see Gerard like with his beautiful little silver pill case, but we also see a very familiar little silhouette creep around the corner.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder
Who's that
who that
long
is
jacket?
with that long leather jacket and that beautiful head of hair.
He does have lovely hair.
He has such lovely hair. Like, hello, Uncle
think
Peter.
you have
It's nice
to.
to see you.
I think it's a requirement to be a Hale.
To be beautiful?
Yeah.
Yes.
Head of hair, beautiful cheekbones.
Yes. Correct.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, we got scary Alpha Derek coming for Matt and scary Jackson Kanema coming for Derek and Styles going like, I'm going backwards down the hall. Do, 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 do. And so,
Yep.
Melissa is watching, Derek Alpha versus Jackson Kanema and is like getting a little freaked out. But then Scott comes to save her when Jackson decides to get a little too close to the cage. But then all of a sudden he realizes that it means that he has to tell his mama.
Mm-hmm. It's time.
It's time.
Although poor Sheriff is like knocked the fuck out during this, which I think is funny.
He is unconscious.
I mean, it would have been expedient if both of them had been conscious.
Seriously. But unfortunately, there's just one of them that's conscious. And so he reveals his werewolf face to Mama McCall, and she doesn't react all that well.
She's been through a lot tonight.
Yeah. And like, again, I would react in a similar way. But still, it hurts.
Although, I mean, don't you kind of think, well, I mean, you and I are so soaked in media that we'd be like, werewolf.
Cool.
Yeah. I mean, maybe not. Maybe in real life, if someone approached us and was like, by the way, werewolves actually are real and I'm one of them, would the reaction be hooray, or would the reaction be I
just relogged a thing from like season 5 with two of the newbies where one of them tells the other one and she immediately punches him in the face. And I was like, you know what? That's correct. Yes, good job.
Correct.
That's correct.
Yeah. You're right.
You're correct. But yeah, Mama is not taking it all that well, but like not as bad as she could have taken it. But
True.
Not great. Not great. So we finally come to our last, well, maybe our last big thing that happens in the sheriff's station. We get two characters who haven't been super cooperative who run into each other in the hallway.
Mm-hmm.
We get Scott and Gerard who run into each other in the hallway.
Yep. Gerard, who has been just like sitting outside not doing anything, and now he's very conveniently inside for a nice little meeting here.
And Scott's like, this isn't how I wanted it to happen.
Mm-hmm. I've done what we asked of me.
And it's like, are you two working together?
Mm-hmm.
Are you two working together? For reasons?
Are you in cahoots?
Are you in cahoots?
Are you cahooting? It feels like you're cahooting.
Feels like you're cahooting. And so, Scott, apparently Gerard drops his meds and Scott passes it back to him. And we go down the hallway. and we find Derek, who has overheard the entire thing and is betrayed.
I would also be betrayed.
Yeah,
If you were
especially
alone
because,
with Gerard, you kill him.
dude, and Deaton just spent like an entire 10 minutes lecturing him on how you should trust Scott, and the only one you should trust is Scott. And Derek's like, I do trust Scott. Maybe I should trust him more. And then
Yeah.
to immediately hear him conspiring, cahooting with the enemy.
And Gerard being, he doesn't know too. And Gerard was like almost like giving Scott orders to leave
Yeah.
Matt and Jackson to them, to the Argents. And Scott's like, okay, what? Like, you're just gonna give Jackson over to the Argents? Why? What are you doing, Scott? What are you doing?
What are you doing? What are you doing?
And why? What are you fucking doing? Small boy, what are you doing?
I have a lot of questions.
So many questions.
So,
Yeah.
we're finally out of the sheriff station.
This poor sheriff station will never recover.
Never recover. So, do you want to tackle?
Yeah, so Matt goes boot scooting out of the station thinking he can make his escape, but he gets caught by Gerard, who is honestly improbably strong, and just gets dragged into a stream which is conveniently located by the sheriff station, I think for this scene alone, and he's drowned, which is poetic, and it sucks. I don't think anyone wants to drown. That's not a great way to die. That is the end of Matt, who flashes during his death to some of the scenes that we had seen before during his previous drowning. And that sucks for him, but honestly, he's a dickbag, and I don't think he will be missed at all.
No, not at all.
Not at all. But that does mean that leaves the Kanima without an owner, and the Kanima comes out of the sheriff's station and approaches Gerard, who immediately takes ownership of the Kanima with their little palm-to-palm lovers kiss.
Yeah,
Romeo and Juliet bond.
Whatever
that little bond is. And we kind of pan out and see Peter watching from afar as this unfolds. And he's got like a look of curiosity and maybe, I don't know if it's fear, but it's like, quoi?
So
what is this?
That is my whole question. So Peter is like watching Gerard. So Peter watches Gerard drown Matt and watches as Gerard like adopts the Kanima.
Mm-hmm.
And the look I get from Peter is he looks betrayed.
Mm-hmm.
But you bitch, I was gonna do that. So like
I was gonna get that one.
So like did Peter think that he was gonna take control of the Kanima? Did Peter is Peter having thoughts and feelings about like Matt or Gerard? For me, this is where my one of the like little meta things, one of the fandom things that I've taken really fondly in my heart comes from, especially around season 2. There's a lot of lore about like, is Peter actually Jackson's dad? Is Peter Jackson's birth father?
Interesting. Okay.
And I'm like, is that where this is from? Like, you stole my son? Like,
yeah.
Like, I don't know why Peter is like looking at this in this way, but Peter is definitely feeling some kind of way about Gerard and the Kanima working together, and I have no idea what it is.
Interesting. Yeah, I wouldn't. Well, and so, yeah, it's a good point. Maybe it's a worry that someone as powerful as Gerard now has a creature stronger than a werewolf.
Yeah, I don't know, but
that could be troubling.
Peter's like feeling feelings about it.
He's feeling a lot of feelings about this. Yeah, he's not into this situation at all, and that is understandable because it's not great.
No, it's not. But that's where we end our episode. Gerard has a new bestie. Allison's officially a bad guy. Scott and Gerard might be working together, ? And Melissa has just found out that werewolves are real.
Oops. So not great.
Everyone's having a bad night in the sheriff's office.
Yeah. It's not awesome.
No.
And you know, it's a rough episode to move forward from because, okay, so now one more adult knows the truth about the kids, but the sheriff still doesn't. And like,
right.
do you choose to tell him? How does that go? Like, okay, I know you were knocked out for most of this, but there is something we need to tell you.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yikes. So, what an episode. It's it's a great episode. It's so wild. It's so fast. So much happens.
Mm-hmm. And it's almost at the end.
Indeed. So, we are going to do a rapid fire edition because I'm finding this is much harder to do than the actual visuals of this is the episode you're looking for. But there's at least one shot in this is the episode that this is the episode. So, lots of great Kanema and Jackson stuff. That weird shot of Derek in the white room is in this episode. That shot of
Babs for
Allison burning the
days.
letter,
Mm.
Allison with that like flame paper in her hand, and the photo of Allison and Lydia in the basket
Hmm.
is in this episode. So for all you Lydia people in the content creator universe, this is the episode you're looking for. Literally everything about this big, beautiful, misty, flashy sheriff's office kerfuffle. Allison leaping through the air with the knife as she's like hunting the Kanema. The Kanema like choking Allison is in this one. And then everything about Melissa finding out
Mm-hmm.
about Scott is in this episode. So a lot of good stuff. And it's the shot of Allison burning the paper and the shot of the photo of Allison and Lydia in the basket for me.
Mm.
Hooray.
It's a big one.
Yeah, it's a big one. That's one I have searched for many times.
It's a lot of episode.
Yeah, it really is.
It's a good. I like it. I think it's hard when a main character goes rogue. I think everyone. I mean, I don't know. You're more of an Allison fan, I want to say. I don't know if
Yeah.
that's true.
Yeah.
Than I am. Although I'm obviously watching this time around with trying to watch this time around with stare goggles slightly loosened. But it's rough watching, a lead who is, and generally lead characters are on team good, not team bad. But watching her take the turn into the bad side sucks.
It sucked in season 1. It's gonna suck more in season 2. It's gonna hurt more before it gets better.
Do you think it serves a narrative purpose? Like, do you find it convincing, or are you kind of like, this is annoying? So sometimes it feels like when characters go rogue, it's just for the shock value of it, or are you like, no, I get this. I get what's happening here. I get the purpose. I get the meaning behind it.
I think I'm gonna have to watch the rest of the season before I'm really able to answer that question.
Mm.
Because I haven't seen the whole thing like this in a while, and I
Mhm.
need to kind of know how it ends. I need to know how the writing of it ends to see if I understand it a little better this time around.
Sure.
Because if it wraps up correctly, then I can kind of pull the pieces together and kind of understand it. But if
Mhm.
it's like if it just kind of turns out that it's just shock value for shock value, then like, okay,
Yeah.
cool, whatever. I'm actually more grumpy at the fact that they spent like 6 episodes not talking about their main villain and all of a sudden he's dead. Like, okay.
Mhm.
Like the whole Matt thing, I wish it had been better constructed. Like I get it, but it doesn't quite hit what I want it to hit.
Yeah, and there were a lot of pieces to it, right? Like his obsession with Allison is a whole part of it that kind of glossed over and could have had a whole other angle, right?
Yeah, I would
Like,
have loved to have seen that start,
yeah.
like kind of go into that background because it basically sounds like it looks like from the footage we get that Matt just like decided on the day of her aunt's funeral to become officially obsessed with Allison. And it's like, I don't think that's where it started. And I would have
I don't think
loved
so
to have
either.
seen a little more well-rounded, well thought out something or other from that.
What's interesting too is like if he had tried to take that somewhere and have done it without the Kanema,
Yeah.
he's not going to get very far with her.
No,
Like
it's
if
really
it
not.
had gone into like a stalking, kidnapping scenario, for instance, which is really like to an extreme, but that's kind of where the show goes, right? Like it's an extreme show. There's fucking werewolves. she's gonna kick his ass, right? Like,
Well, she's gonna try.
yeah, she dropped him to the floor.
Yeah, but she was standing. She was already
Yes.
standing and had all her limbs free. So like she would have had to go back into the moment, like the recall. It would have been a really nice mirror to like when her dad kidnaps
Mhm.
her in 2-3 to like, if she gets
Yep.
kidnapped by Matt in 2-10, then
Yeah.
that would have been a really interesting mirror. But you need Allison to be a bad guy so that you can see the actual effects of Gerard's manipulation.
Yeah.
Because what I think would be really interesting, and I kind of forget how it turns out, which is not a great sign, but Scott and Gerard are clear. There's something going on between them. And I would love for that like heel turn to have happened to Scott and not to Allison.
Oh, sure.
Like if Allison was dealing with the stalker and then Gerard sort of decided to get in with Scott as opposed to Allison, the like, we hunt werewolves, but I am different and I want to bring us all together and we're going to do werewolves for good and, etc. And then have Scott actually be on Team Gerard for the moment, as
Mhm.
opposed to Allison and then get her snapped out of it. So that would have been really an interesting way to go down. I don't know if it would have worked, but I would have liked to see it. I would like to see it tried.
Yep.
So no, I don't mind this heel turn from Allison. I think it's interesting, but I don't know. I think I'm just a little bitter because they do so many different things with Allison and then just like leave Lydia out of like entire episodes.
Yeah, no, I know.
You had another girl.
Yeah, like,
You did.
where's Lydia right now?
Where's Lydia?
Where is she?
Like,
Is she just like taking a bubble bath and like ignoring all this shit?
God, I hope so. She deserves it.
Or
Only
like, okay,
baths, no showers.
so okay, but where is Lydia? Because she was in the Hale house with Peter and Derek. Where where is she? Peter came flying out of the.
I imagine she went home.
Did he just send her home?
Yeah, to deal with the trauma. She might actually be trying to call Allison.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, good. Maybe he good. Let's say he sent her home.
Yeah, because she's not hanging out in the Hale house anymore because she's not there when Deaton gets there. And she's not hanging out with Peter when Peter's creeping with Gerard. So I just have to assume she went home.
Okay, great. I'm into it.
Yeah, she's home. She's home. She's safe. She's having a nice bubble bath and taking Prada out for a walk and just having a nice time.
Okay, lovely. That's great.
Lovely.
Okay. Sold. All right. Well, this was a Rick riotous, I was going to say Rick rolling episode, and that was just absolutely incorrect. Nobody got Rick rolled in this episode.
But we could.
But we're never going to give you up. Actually, a lot of people got let down, so I don't think that's accurate. Anyway, the next episode is the championship game that I think likely nobody is prepared for.
No.
Absolutely nobody has been practicing lacrosse. I think they've been a little bit busy, but you know what? It's time. They're going to have to step it up, and we've still got a Canema to deal with. So good luck, kids. So thank you for listening. If you want to find us on the internet, you can do that at Fandom on the Rocks all over the place. If you want to support the pod, you can do that at patreon.com/Fandom on the Rocks. And you can subscribe on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And, leave us some comments if you have questions. We probably have questions too. And, we'll catch you on the next episode where things continually get worse for our protagonists. You've been listening to Pack Dynamics, a Fandom on the Rocks podcast. For more episodes, subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast. You can follow us online at Fandom on the Rocks. If you'd like to support the podcast, you can subscribe to our Patreon account at patreon.com/fandomontherocks. Subscribers get access to ad-free content, exclusive bonus episodes deep diving into fandom, and more. So until next time, keep your pack close.